Hi, shalom everyone. I'm going to continue the series of the famous Oriental Rabbonim of yesteryear. We've already covered about 280 great Rabbonim, and here we are in Yemen today. Bet Tammuz, the second of Tammuz, marks the yard site, the Hilula of a great rabbi from Yemen, from B'Tzana'ah to be precise, a place we've spoken about on several occasions before, of Rabbi Saadia or Saadia Ozeri Z'tl Livracha. He was actually born in English year 1869 and passed away on 2nd of Tammuz, 3rd of July in the year 1954. So we're talking about 70 years ago since his passing. He'd go on to become a great Rosh Yeshiva of the Beit Al-Usta. And very, very much interesting. He passed away in Israel later on in his life. I believe he lived in Katamon in his last few years of his life. So he was actually born in B'Tzana'ah. And actually interesting, his rabbi was Rabbi Chaim Korach, a great rabbi we have spoken about before on previous occasions. Rabbi Chaim Korach, we dedicated a video on his Hilula. He passed away in the year 1914 and was one of the head rabbis of Teman also. So he learned over there, I believe, in the Beit Midrash of Beit Al-Khalani. And very, very interesting. He was also had close connection with Rabbi Salem Chabashush. Salem obviously means shalom in Hebrew, who was one of the great rabbis also of B'Tzana'ah, respectively, in Teman, a great Rosh Yeshiva also. And he became a Chazan at a young age. And it's actually interesting, I think he was also in close connections with Rabbi Sa'id Al-Gamal, also, who was another great rabbi, or one of the great rabbis and of B'Tzana'ah, respectively. It's actually interesting. He had many children throughout his life also, and it's actually interesting that after the passing of a very great rabbi of the Rosh Yeshiva of Beit Al-Usta, which is a place maybe we should dedicate a video in and of itself. It's one of the great Beit Knesset Gadol in B'Tzana'ah, respectively. I think his name was Rav Chaim Raki Kohen. After, I believe, he passed away, Rav Ozeri was actually put in the position of the head of that yeshiva itself, respectively, over there. And I believe it was a position he held for many, many years. It was, I think, even as many as 40 years. And he actually worked inside the Bet Din also, I think, of the Rabbi Yitzchak Halevi, a very great rabbi who we've spoken about before, one of the great rabbis, probably the head rabbi of Yemen at that point in time, and a Bet Din at that stage in time also. So he actually passed away, I believe, at around the age of 85. He would move to Israel, I believe, in the year 1949. It's something we'll speak about in a second, or in another minute. Also, what's actually interesting, there was a time period of huge conversation, let's just say, in Teman, and there was within regards to should we teach inside the schools the Zohar and the Kabbalah, or there were Rabbonim that wanted to take to just concentrate and learn on the Rambam. It's a big discussion in of itself. And there was a movement, let's just say, called the Der Da'im movement, which we've spoken about before. That was, I believe, which was a movement founded in B'Tzana'ah and at the start of the 20th century by Rabbi Yichie Kapach. I did a video on Rabbi Yichie Kapach, on his Hilula itself, respectively. However, what's interesting is some of the people that, let's just say, took a different approach to the Der Da'im movement on what we should specifically learn. They wanted to call the Der Da'im movement in of itself opposed, let's just say, the teaching of Kabbalah full time. He actually was on, let's just say, the other spectrum, let's just say, of the Der Da'im faction. And it's actually interesting. We just spoke about a month ago about another great rabbi of Yemen. We just spoke about him actually a minute ago, Rabbi Yitzchak Halevi. He also, let's say, opposed that the approach of just, let's say, learning the Rambam. He really wanted, in Yemen, they were learning the Zohar and the Kabbalah for many, many years. And it happened to be that they wanted to continue this, and that very much included Rabbi Ozeri also, and Rabbi Yichie Halevi also, who we've spoken about before. Again, let's just say they were not with the Der Da'im movement of, let's just say, Rabbi Yichie Kapach. But that's a topic in of itself, which I would leave you all to research on. It's actually interesting. I believe that there was Rabbi Amram Ozeri actually says that there was a book, Amunat, the famous book, actually, I think that was published in Yemen itself, respectively. It was, the name was Emunat Hashem. And he claims that, I'm reading over here, that it was Rav Sa'id Ozeri and Rav Yechia Arusi, I think, wrote or made that book together, if I'm not mistaken, also. So actually it's interesting. Rav Ozeri himself, he would move. He was strong, passionate within regards to advocating to move to Eretz Israel. And he himself moved in the year 1949 to Israel. He really was an advocate about moving there. I believe he actually moved to Eretz Israel in the year in Tet Vav Cheshvan in the year Hey Tav Tet Shin Yud, if I'm not mistaken, in 1949 itself, respectively. And the legend says that I think he actually met David Ben Gurion at the Talfiot crossing, if I'm not mistaken. I believe maybe he was the prime minister at the time, respectively. And he actually put both hands on his heads, respectively, and gave him a blessing, if I'm not mistaken. It was reported over this from a specific area over here. He obviously didn't agree with the secular approach to the state in itself, but was delighted, obviously, that many Jewish people were returning to the homeland of Eretz Yisrael itself. He passed away in the year 1954, like we stated before. He was around 85 years of age. One of his outstanding students was Rabbi Yosef Tzuberi, another great rabbi we have spoken about before, who was a rabbi of the Yemenite community in Tel Aviv later on for many years, if I am not mistaken. And please don't forget to light candles in the great rabbi's memory here on his cellular, and please don't forget to watch over all the previous videos we have spoken about before. If you check on the channel itself, respectively, you can read about the Der Da'im movement. You can watch videos with regards to Rabbi Yosef Kapach and Rabbi Yechia Kapach, also respectively, and learn about how the curriculum, the Torah learning, mostly was Zohar and Kabbalah, and at some stage they very much wanted to, let's say, bring into the curriculum learning the Rambam, and that's a whole topic in of itself over there. Very much Rabbi Ozeri was a central figure who was, let's say, not with the Der Da'im movement, and he himself encouraged support for Kabbalah, which is very widely reported. And I'll leave you all to read more within regards to that. I'm wishing you all a great day. Take care, and blessings from Israel.